Hey, this is Jim from Fokker 51, and if you remember our last video, we were working on the Tamiya 1/350 scale Bismarck battleship. It's been about 2 weeks since the move, so the bench is back up and we got a lot done. Again, this was my first battleship, actually first ship of any kind build, so I hope you guys like it. We went out the combat stripes on the side and up the superstructure. It was just going to be a little too much to do. So, if you remember, we talked about the kit barrels that came with it. The plastic ones were warped pretty bad. So what we went with were metal or aluminum tubing and brass tubing. We measured up to the original size at the hobby shop with calipers and just cut them to scale using the originals as a template. So basically the 4 main deck guns have metal tubing, 4 barrels. I wish this thing would focus a little bit better. I'm using my phone. I haven't had a chance to get my video camera out yet, but anyway, they came out pretty good actually. So going on, we drilled out all the portholes, the captain's bridge, we were able to work on that. The steam launchers, the smaller deck guns, we left the original barrels. Seaplane, black thread we used for the rigging for the communications and everything for the antennas. Moving towards the rear, also the aft main guns, again the metal tubing. Swinging around. All the other paint is Tamiya acrylics, except for the hull red. Now the hull is actually folk art maroon, real close match to the Tamiya hull red. So that's what I decided to go with, was the folk art. A lot cheaper. Real pleased with the way that paint works out. The only thing we're kind of disappointed on is the anchors. They had molded in anchor chains on the steel plating. We sanded that off with the hopes that we would be able to get some chain to scale, but we were unable to locate any at the hobby store, and Michael's and Hobby Lobby didn't have anything to scale. So the way this thing's going to sit on the shelf, you're never going to see on top of it anyway. You'll just see the main gun sticking out and everything else. The nameplate is Tester's gold enamel. Airbrushed the whole plate gold, then airbrushed Tamiya semi-gloss black over it, and then went over with the Q-tip and thinner to expose the gold. Kind of the same thing I did on my Shinanju. So it worked there. Reverse washing is a real neat trick if you guys ever have the chance to do it. It really takes the paint out of taking a small detail brush and trying to do all the little lettering. It is way much easier. So I was going to seal it with satin polyurethane, but I think I'm just going to leave it as is. I don't want to mess with this thing anymore. Luckily, between the move, I unfortunately lost one part, which is a radar grid that goes up on top of the tower, and one arm broke off. So the back side of this will be facing the wall when it goes up on the shelf. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Of course, we did the brass screws. No fit issues. It's an old kit, but you know it's a Tamiya, so it went together real nice. Test fitted everything before glued together. The only problems we had were the gray. We originally went with a craft barrel gray. Something happened during the painting process. I don't know what. We prepped the surface, we cleaned it, we primed it. We had to wind up stripping all the gray off. Everything had to soak in a purple pond and just get everything off. It was a mess. So we went with the Tamiya paint. Didn't throw the gray out. I think it was just a fluke because I've used that gray before. I never had a problem. Really had good results. I've used it as primer before too. So this is just this was actually a black automotive primer we used. So again, real happy with the way this thing turned out. for our first ship build. So if you have any comments, feel free to throw them on the page. And if you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask. I'll answer them as best I can. Like I said, I don't have too many videos up there, but really getting back into the hobby. So our next build is actually not going to be a build. We're just going to work on, that. We're going to try to finally finish this up. We're going to go with Chris Chapman's aluminum foil for the chrome trim. We're going to give that a try and get this thing done once and for all. I'm tired of looking at it, actually. And then I don't know what we're going to go to after that. So this is Jim from Fokker 51. I want to say see you later.